Happy New Year! This is Yujin. I'm a management consultant based in Boston. I've been journaling for the past 26 years. And today, I would love to share with you how I started journaling and what I would do differently. I was born and raised in Seoul, South Korea. In my country, as soon as you learn how to write Hangul, the Korean alphabet, you are assigned these homework. I draw out my day, and right below that is my best attempt to describe what my day was like using all the little words I knew at the time. I felt like I was an author collecting stories. Over the holidays, I was home and I went through my journals. And here are 5 things I wish I had done differently when I journaled. I was going back and forth between digital journals and keeping a physical copy of my entries. I was kind of all over the place. I do think there are benefits to both types, so let's go over that really quickly. Having your journals saved on the cloud is an easy way to keep writing on the go. You can open your app on your phone or just pop up your laptop, and there you go. There's also a lower risk of losing your journals. Unlike a physical copy, if you spill water all over or drop it in the river, with your digital journals, it's going to be there with you at all times. Fingers crossed that there's no IT problems. And you can easily find things in your journals by using my favorite shortcut, Control F. Even better, you will no longer have clutter if you have digital copies of your entries. Keeping a physical copy, it's fun in its own way. I love writing in ink. Using ink makes me think that my stories and memories will be permanent. Decorating your journal can also be a creative hobby too. It's also a nice personalized gift. This is the journal my sister gave me. You will never run out of batteries with your physical journals, and it's much easier to draw out something that happened or a memory with pen. I would say if this is your first time journaling, make the barriers to entry low. Start very small by picking up a notebook, rolling around your home. You don't have to worry about which apps to download. Write a quick paragraph and take it from there. You'll have fun adding pages day by day. Looking back, I wish I had written all my journals in Korean. And don't worry if you don't speak multiple languages yet. There are different types of voice that you can use in your journaling. For instance, growing up as a kid, I watched Nickelodeon. She would always start her journals with Dear Diary. I felt like that was a way of making your journal feel like another friend. I would write to my future self. Here's a free link that I use to send emails to my future self, reminding myself that it's going to be better in 1 month, in a quarter, or even a year. My mother language is Korean, and English is my second language. When I started learning English for the first time, I also picked up another journal to write in English. And my English teacher would draw in the red pen all the little grammatical mistakes I made so that on the other side of the page, I could rewrite those sentences again. And in college, I decided to switch over back to Korean. This is when I realized that I was much more expressive with my emotions. In case my journals were lost or stolen, my friends, unless they spoke Korean, could not be able to decipher what I said. So I felt that writing in another language added a sense of secrecy and privacy. So if you're like me and speak another language, feel free to explore those options too. See which language makes you feel more like yourself. And now that I use English in a business professional setting, sometimes my journals felt more like reports. Versus 我觉得我很奇怪说中文的时候 그리고 지금이 제일 편한 것 같아요. So I invite you to explore different language, persona, or even tones that you want to use in your journals. It makes journaling a lot more personal. Next is around finding a format that works well for you. And I'll go over my favorites along with why I like them. Generally speaking, there are 3 different types of journals that I've seen online. And I've tried all of these and I'll tell you which one worked and what didn't for me. I've had the bullet journal, the 5-year journal, as well as a pocket journal. I started with a bullet journal first. These are very convenient and easy to start, especially if you are new to journaling. It's also a great way to keep track of your habits. While bullet journals were great at logging in things that happened that day, I felt that my calendars could easily replace bullet journals. Also, bullet journals doesn't give you enough room to practice your storytelling. Sometimes I focus too much on what happened that day instead of processing and understanding how did I actually feel, what emotions and thoughts were going inside my head when this activity was happening. I've used it for about less than a year and quickly moved over to my pocket journals. Pocket journals are convenient to carry because it's so small and light. The beauty of pocket journals was I was able to capture my thoughts and put it down in a notebook. And you've probably heard of this concept capture in the book Getting Things Done, where you write things down so you don't clutter your brain with a lot of things to do. Pocket journals were a little too small for me and didn't give me enough space to write more and go deeper into my thoughts and emotions. This is when I came across my 5-year journals. In 5-year journals, you come back to the very same page every single year. And the beauty of that is you get to remember the things, the good, sometimes the bad, that happened about a year or two, and even 5 years ago. The 5-year journals definitely improved my memory. But that could also be a bad thing, because sometimes I don't want to remember the fact that I got stood up on a date. Some memories are best to leave behind. It was also fun to get a peek of what I wrote year after year, but I also didn't want what I wrote the previous year to influence what I am writing today and now. Then there was that emotional hurdle that I started to feel when I felt like I had to keep writing every single day for my 5-year journals. This is a good segue for my next lesson. Have you ever felt like trying to keep a journal every day starts to weigh you down and it feels like a chore? I've definitely been there. Sometimes when I go online and see all these self-help morning routines, wow, how am I supposed to meditate, work out, take a cool shower, write a gratitude journal, and start my day? It feels a little overwhelming, and I wanted to make sure that journaling does not feel like a burden anymore. So a few years ago, I was talking with my executive coach. Hey, Nicole, I'm a little frustrated because I have a lot of things to do, but now I feel like I'm running behind because there are a few pages that I haven't filled out this year for my 5-year journal. And then she went, you don't need to write every day if it's stressful for you. That's when I realized, oh, she's right. It never occurred to me until I was 27 that journaling is no longer a homework assignment. So the point here is I want you to explore different ways to make journaling more fun. And to get there, figure out why you want to start journaling. Is it to understand how you feel that day and improve your mental health? Is it to log different activities that you've done? Or is it just because you feel like everyone's doing it? Really figure out at the core why you want to journal. And then if it no longer serves you, it's okay to skip a few days. Also, there's an international organization dedicated to journaling. I found that out while I was researching for this video. Some prompts include, today I didn't say this, but I wish I had. What was a favorite thing I heard this week? And here's another one. When did I smile today and why? I also started to doodle a lot and put a lot of colors in my journals too. All the small details will make a difference when you journal. So find ways to make it fun if and only if this is a habit that you want to do consistently. I wish I was more honest in my journal entries. The other day, I was watching Bridget Jones' Diary with my younger sister. Felt like a cute holiday movie and I've never seen it before. Towards the end of the movie, the main character says this.
It's only a diary. Everyone knows diaries are just full of crap.
Which got me wondering, have I lied in my journals too? I definitely had rough days at work. Is the first thing that I want to write, what a bad day. I wanted to be more positive because one day I would look back in my entries and I didn't want to remind myself of all the bad things that happened. Especially when I was keeping that 5-year journal, I knew I was going to come back to the same page year after year. I was cautious of how my future self would perceive my past self. I think it took me some time to finally get over judging myself. So this got me thinking, was I lying to my future self when I didn't share the full story in my journal entries? This is a new journaling strategy that my therapist recently taught me. You open a page and on one side, you write down everything that happened and be as vulnerable as you can on what happened that day, what you felt, what was going inside your mind, what you thought about saying, you were this close, but ended up not saying it. And on the other side of the page, you write down what could have been. What were your alternative thoughts? What would have been a better day for you? And this is one way to do it to make sure that you have a balance. So I invite you to ask yourself, are you being honest in your journals? Did any of these lessons resonate with you? Let me know in the comments below. And come back to my next video on...
Let's go! It's time to be the go!